welcome back to my channel. What are we doing today? Today we are working with the Milan 116 brushes. And if you remember in my December roundup video, my thank you 2024 video, I featured these as a part of my low buy as a Christmas present to myself. And I did use them some, and I really want to show these off to you guys today because it's something I mentioned in a previous video. So I am sure some of you might have been curious to how I've been working with these and what are some of the things that I learned about these brushes. So if you remember, these are the Milan 116 brushes, and they come in sizes 12, 8, and 2. Okay, they come in a pack of 3. These are the sizes that came with it. They're made from 30% synthetic and 70% goat hair. And really and truly, my experience with these is that they're much softer than brushes that I'm accustomed to. But anyway, I'm working in here with my Cezanne rough press paper that I have made in this sketchbook. Guys, you remember we talked about the sketchbook, how it's just falling apart on me, but the papers in it is still good. Even though the cover is falling apart, the paper is still good. And what I've been doing in 2024, I have been doing quick doodles in it, so you will see these quick doodles throughout the sketchbook. And some of the things that I've noticed with the sketchbook I'll also talk about in this session, because I've already said all I need to say about these brushes. The watercolor paints that I'm working with are the Etcher. Sorry about the glare. The Etcher watercolors. These are the beautiful colors that are in it. So we'll be working with these all swatched out. They are here. I'm trying to reduce the glare, guys. Yes, they're right here. So I'll be working with these today. And I have my Etcher watercolor brush on me, and I'm working with these brushes. So let me quit the blabbering and get to the coloring. Okay guys, as I work through this, I'm actually showing you guys how it picked up paint. It does pick up a lot of paint. It did work through with the Etcher watercolors, okay. But as I work through this, I think my overall theme that came out of this session was work through the process. And I said that because these brushes don't hold a point at all. None of the brushes does. Not the number 12, not the number 8, not the number 2. I'm actually just showing you what the point of this brush was, and the brush that I was showing you was actually the number 8 brush, which should be there all arounder, but nah, it wasn't working for me at all. I first started out with a warm yellow because I wanted to show the cheesy effect of this, and because the brushes don't hold a point at all, I couldn't put on my little garnishes, my little black garnishes that were there. And then I started to re-wet the paper with just plain water using the number 12 brush, and for the most part the paper did do its job. It held the water. I was able to do wet on wet applications. I'm thinking with these brushes, with this paper, the best approach is wet on wet, because when it comes to wet on dry, it is work through the process. Look how flawlessly that application went down. It wasn't as frustrating as doing the warm yellowy cheesy part of the pizza. So yeah, I did make a few boo-boos, but I did had a tissue in my hand, so I was able to dab the water. And it was like when I got to the end of this was when I realized the water to brush consistency that I was able to be comfortable with these brushes. Yes, they are 70% goat hair, so they're able to hold a little bit more water than the brushes that I am used to, which is mostly synthetic. But because they didn't hold a point, it didn't give me that precision that I loved with other Milan brushes. You know, it was like, okay, how can I work through this? I think it was when I finished with the, oh gosh, I haven't had a pizza in so long. It was when I finished with the pastrami was when I realized, the pepperoni was when I realized, sorry, the pastrami, the pepperoni was when I realized that the water consistency that I love, and this is where I actually realized about the wet on wet. But the wet and wet also dulling the color. It didn't give me the color vibrancy that I want. So you will see me go over that little part more than one time. And if you don't see, yes, I did went over that pepperoni more than one time because it didn't give the vibrancy as the others that I did wet on dry. I didn't know what to do with those little circles. I had a vision in my head of what I wanted them to be. But because these brushes don't hold point, I just decided to put them as dark greens. Maybe they're peas. I don't know. People put peas on pizza, I think. And that was where I was at. That was where my head was at. I couldn't put the other garnishes on it because of, like I said, it really didn't hold a point, and those garnishes really need a precision touch, and the number 2 brush was not going to help me at all. This is actually the number 2 brush that I'm working with, and I was actually battling through this process, working through this process. And this is where I was like, okay, I'm going to do the wet on wet for this part, and then on the top part I'm going to leave it dry, and I'm going to do wet on dry for that. And it came out okay. It didn't give me what I wanted though. So I literally, you see me now learning how to work with these brushes. It's like what I said. I'm gonna end here, guys. It's like what I said, each art supply have their own way that they want you to work with them so that you could bring out the best out of their out of that product and in your style. And you really just have to study it a bit, and that was what I was actually doing. And that's how I was able to kind of save this piece, because I actually learned what these brushes want to do with these papers, with this paint. Guys, this has been a very interesting and actually very fun experience. I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to see you in the end piece. So what do we think of these brushes? Thankfully, I did not lose any bristles that I did in my first application with these. I think I lose 2 bristles out of the number 8. And guys, this is as much as a point as it's gonna get. It's not gonna give you a really sharp point. The number 2 looks like it's gonna give you a decent point, but it doesn't. It frays the minute it touches the paper. And the number 12 seems like an okay one, but you can see there are no good points on this. I stressed that enough already. All in all, this has been a really interesting experience. I think it's because I'm so used to working with synthetic brushes that the naturalness of the natural hair bristles kind of caught me off guard at first. But the point of these brushes was that the point, it doesn't hold a point. That's like the only thing I'm thinking about when it comes to them. And but all in all, it was a fun and interesting experience. At least I learned how to work with it, which was the beautiful part. I did add a bit of shadowing, as you've noticed, while I was doing my editing and doing my talk over. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Have you ever worked with synthetic natural hair blends brushes before? What was your experience like? Have you ever worked with those brushes before? Let me know all those beautiful goodness in the comments below. I do look forward to reading your comments, and as always, thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.